Do you have a desire to get your message to the masses? Are you marketing or are your marketing and campaigns attracting your divine clients? Great morning, super achievers. Welcome to today's episode, How to Increase Your Impact So You Can Boost Your Income. Welcome to the Influencers Journey Show. My name is Taria Hodge, and the big question that we set out to answer each week on this show is how does the average entrepreneur like us, who started with limited time, zero marketing budget, or with little to no online presence, get their authentic message into the marketplace and become a person of influence? And also, what skills must you learn? And most importantly, who are you required to become to magnetically attract your divine client and build your loyal following? Wow, I am so excited to be here for the very first episode of 2023. And this topic that I'm talking about today is actually continuing off of our conversation that we had on our last episode, which was how your content can help you win your year. So, how your content and how you use the content can help you increase your profits. So, one of the things, so before we start off into the episode, let me just kind of ask, who has had the opportunity as yet to finish their goals for 2023? So no doubt we have just completed the first week of 2023. That's how fast time is flying. So have you completed your goals for 2023? And most important, have you started to work on your social media goals, or have you completed your social media goals? And so if that's you, you've completed your social media goals, drop me a comment down in the comment section. Let me know, yes, Taria, I have completed, my goals. I know exactly what it is I am focused on for the year. And if you are still working, on that, just go ahead, drop me a comment and let me know I'm still working on my goals. Okay. So I would love to know where everyone is at this point. So one of the things that came up for me as I was working on my goals, something specifically jumped out for me. And the word that jumped out for me as I was working on my goals was the word impact. Okay. So if you have a word for the year, drop your word for the year in the comment section. I would love to know what your word for the year is. Now, this is what was really interesting for me and how I came to the word impact for as I was working through my goals. So one of the things that I started to look at as I laid out my goals and I looked at all of the wonderful things that I want to be able to accomplish at the end of the year, I started to think of, wow, what does it really take to achieve this? How many people do I have to touch in order to bring these goals into a reality? And so before, or usually when I think of impact, I kind of think of, I don't know the word for it. So I'll say the emotional side of impact, how your message is landing, with people, how they're receiving the message of your brand and all of that stuff. But sitting and taking a look at impact from the side of numbers. So when you take a look at creating impact in the marketplace, have you attached a number to that word, that impact? So do you know, as you set your goals, how many people do you want to have enrolled in your programs or your services? If you are a coach or a consultant out there, do you know how many people do you want to have enrolled in your community? If you have an online community, whether it be on LinkedIn or whether it be on Facebook or some other platform that you're hosting your community, where you bring your audience together for great conversation and great service, do you know what the number is? How many people that you desire to touch? What's the impact that you desire to have? And so that was one of the things, like I said, that stood out for me, and being able, to define those numbers. So even when you take a look at your social media platforms, do you have a number in mind that you would like to, grow your audience this year? What would be that number for you? When you create your content, how many, views would you desire to get on your content? How many, if you have a lead magnet or a download that you're offering, some type of free offer, free gift, how many people would you like to get that in the hands of this year? And so that's what I'm talking about when I say impact. And so one of the things that I know is that the amount of people that you impact, the amount of people that you touch, directly reflects the revenue that you generate in your business. So oftentimes we set these goals, right? We have these wonderful goals that we set in our business, and it's not that the things that we're going after, aren't good. Your programs are good, but here's the thing. Are you reaching enough people? Are you touching enough people that would allow you to make those dreams a reality? And so that's what we are going to talk about, a little bit about that today. So I would like for everyone to weigh in. And I see that Karen is out there this morning. Karen is saying that I'm still working on my goals. So thank you so much, Karen Hayes, for joining us this morning. Yes, go ahead. Now is the time, if you have not completed already, to start to lay out your goals and your roadmap, your action plan for 2023. And I see that Danette Davis Collins is out there saying that her word for 2023 is relationship. So I love that. I love that. And we're actually going to touch a little bit about that on this episode too, Danetta. So thank you so much for joining us. And I see that Regina is out here this morning. Great morning to you, Regina. Thank you so much for tuning in and joining me. And then Regina says 1,000. So I would like to know, Regina, what are you attaching that number to? So is it 1,000 people that you want to have enrolled in your program? Do you want to grow your community by 1,000 program? Do you have some type of products or service that you're offering, a free gift? Do you want to get that in the hands of 1,000 people? So just go ahead and let me know what you are assigning that number of 1,000 to. I would definitely love to know. So once again, everyone, Happy New Year. Welcome to the very first episode of 2023. So if you are out there, you're watching, do me a favor. In the comment section, drop a line. Let me know where you are watching from. I always like to know where our super achievers are tuning in from. Let me know where you're joining us from. And then also in the comments, let me know who you serve in your business. So who is your divine client? And then also, how do you serve in your business? So let me know who you serve and how you serve in your business. Now, this is one of the things that we ask all of our super achievers to do every time we have a show. And the reason why we do this is because one thing we know that happens here is virtual networking. So virtual networking happens when we're on the show, but it also happens during the week when we are offline as well in our community. So we won't know who to connect you to if you don't tell us. Okay, so take the minute, drop a line in the comments, let us know who you serve in your business and how do you serve in your business. Okay, and then like I said, I'm asking everyone 2 questions this morning. First, where are you with your goals for 2023, your business goals and especially your social media goals? Where are you? And then also, if you have decided your word for the week, go ahead, or the word for your year, just go ahead and drop that in the comments as well. And I know my word for the year is impact. Okay. So, for those of you who are just joining us, welcome back to the Influencer's Journey Show. And today, our topic is how increasing your impact can boost your income. So, like I said, one of the things that I talked about in the last episode is planning out your content and how laying out your content can increase your profits in 2023. And this is one of the most important things that you could do in your business as far as your marketing and as far as your social media. So if you haven't had the opportunity to check out the previous episode, you want to make sure that you head over into the group and then you want to watch that episode because I talked about several things, right? So, one of the things that I talked about was how do you lay out your content? So, in laying out your content, one of the things that we talked about is really getting clear on the conversations that you want to have inside of the marketplace and when those conversations will be happening and to be ahead of that. And the reason why you want to do that is because you want to alleviate that stress, that not knowing, that overwhelm, all of those things that people feel when it comes to social media. You want to make sure that you are being very strategic as well with the content, the type of content that you're putting out into the marketplace. And so all of those things, take time and they take planning. And so, like I mentioned before, as I was working through my goals for the year, and I took a look at what is it that I would like to, do for 2023. I looked at my revenue, what is it, my revenue goals, what I would like to see happen in the business this year. It made me really think on, what, how many people do I have to touch in order to make these things a reality? And so I thought it would be a great idea, to come ahead and unpack it on this show today. So, one of the first things that I want to take a minute to talk about when we talk about creating impact and the direct impact that impact has on your business, on your income, right, is your branding. And when we take a look at branding, I'm not only talking about the look of your business, like your imagery and the feel of your business. One of the things that I want everyone to really, take a look at is your messaging. And so your messaging is probably the most important part of your branding. And so when we take a look at our messaging, we first think of our divine clients. And so that's where I really want to start, is to make sure that you have a clear idea of who you are called to serve in the marketplace. And so, we talk about that all the time, not only the demographics of your ideal client, meaning, their age, their gender, where they live, and all of that stuff, not just the psychographics, their pain points, the things that they desire, what they would like to achieve, but we also talk about emotional branding as well. And the emotional branding is how well are you connecting to the heart of your divine client. And when we talk about branding and we talk about creating our brand message, this is the thing that distinguishes you from your competition. And this is one of the things that I would love for everyone to get. So sometimes we think that it's a product that we put out there or it's a service that we provide. But stop and think about it for a second. We're not the only ones that, have the service that we provide. So I would be crazy to think that I am the only social media strategist in the world. I would love to believe so, but not true. So there are many other people out there, thousands, hundreds of thousands of people who provide social media services for their clients. So the question becomes, what would make someone choose my business, choose to work with me versus someone else who does the same thing that I do? And the secret to that is found in your messaging. So, your messaging, as you take a look at your message and we bring it back to impact, your messaging, should give your divine clients the values that you hold dear to your business. It should communicate the why behind your brand. So why is it that you do what is it that you do? And this is what really gives people more reason to work with you. And so if you have not sat down as yet, okay, and got very, very, very clear on your brand message, now is the time to do so. So once again, your messaging is one of the things that have direct, impact, on your business. Also, being clear on your message, and we talked about content, being clear on your message keeps you, it provides a guideline for you for your content. So being clear on your message also lets you know what you need to be putting out as far as your content. It provides those guardrails. That's the word I was looking for. It provides those guardrails for you that as you create your content, you're always coming back to your values. You're always coming back to how you serve in your business. You're coming back to your why. So, once again, being clear on your messaging is key. Now, also, one of the things that I get all the time, and I see it all the time when it comes to messaging, people think that messaging is always about having a sales pitch. So, how many of you think that that's what your messaging is? Like every time you post something, every time you share something, you always have to include that link for people to purchase, or you feel like you have to be salesy. Now, this is one of the biggest things that entrepreneurs struggle with. I see coaches and consultants struggle with it all the time, is the positioning in the marketplace. How do you get your messaging out there, and how do you lead your divine clients on that journey with you without being pushy or without being salesy? And so you can be able to communicate your brand messaging without being salesy or having to include a sales pitch into everything you do. And like I said, this is one of the things that I talk about it all the time. As you put your content out there in the marketplace, the first thing you should ask yourself is, how is this content serving? Okay, so what's the value that I want to communicate in this content? So every time I put a piece of content out into the marketplace, whether it be a video, whether it be a written post, whatever it is you choose to do, how can my audience receive value from that? Now, I don't want people to think that I'm saying that there would never be times that you would promote your business. There will definitely be times that you will promote your businesses, promote your business, promote your programs and your services. You have cycles in your business. So as you create your content plan, you should be looking at your cycles. When do those things happen? And if you're not in a promotional cycle, then you shouldn't just disappear off of social media. You should still be on social media. You should still be marketing. You should still be providing value. You still should be having those conversations that would allow you to nurture your audience, okay, until your promotional cycle opens up as well. And then also going back to why your branding is also important, and in regards to your message, one of the things that you want to take a look at as you think about getting your message out there, what format do you need to communicate, or what format do you need to deliver your message? So one of the questions that I got this week as I was doing discovery calls, I'm back online this week, one of the things that I got is, oh my gosh, what type of content should I be creating? And one of the things that I encourage everyone to know is, as you start to define your audience and you start to take a look at your people, the first question you should be asking yourself is, where are you people hanging out? So do you know where your audience, do you know where your divine clients, where are they spending their time online? And then after you have defined that, then that leads you to knowing what type of content you should be creating. So is it video content if they're hanging out on YouTube? Okay, so I have people say that to me all the time. Like, my clients, are found on YouTube. They consume content on YouTube. And so that's the place where you should be hanging out. And as you create your content and your messaging, it should be formatted for that platform. Okay. And I see that Peg is out there this morning. Great morning. Happy New Year to you. And she is joining us from Maryland. Thank you so much for tuning in and joining. And I see that I have a Facebook user from St. Thomas, Virgin Islands. So I'm not quite sure who that is. And so if you can, let me know your name. Just go ahead and type your name and put VI, because of course I'm hailing from the beautiful Virgin Islands as well. So just let me know who you are. Your name did not come up in the comment section. And Regina is saying, yes, stay in front of mine at all times for your audience. And that's exactly what it is, Regina. As we, go ahead to, oh, hi, Allegra. As we go ahead, and we take a look at our businesses and our content and how we serve, it is about positioning in front of our divine clients. And it's also looking at being a resource. So thank you so much for that, Regina. And so the second thing that I want to cover, in how, your impact in the marketplace directly reflects your income. And I think I just touched on it just a little while ago, is what type of content you should be creating. Right. And so I'll go ahead and I'll share a short story about me doing videos. So for those of you who know me, have had the opportunity, to, speak with me or either enrolled in one of our programs, one of the things that I share is that I was that person who was deathly afraid of doing videos. Go figure, right? Deathly afraid of turning on the camera. And I definitely labeled myself as the behind the scenes person. And so even though I understood technology and you knew how to work it, I supported thousands of brands behind the scenes, I was deathly afraid of getting on camera myself. And one of the things that I had to pay attention to, or one of the things that, I saw as we're talking about what type of content you should be creating, is how social platforms have shifted. So, how many of you were around when Google Hangouts actually came into play? So if you were around and you were doing videos from Google Hangouts, go ahead and let me know. And I'm going to say this. So one of the things that we all have to take a look at is the shift that's coming into play and how your audience consumes content. Being able to define how your audience consume content and know that. Okay, so like I said, I started out being a back-end support for Google Hangouts, and I remember back in the day, way back when, it was almost like pulling teeth, to get people to show up on camera. Okay. But videos were becoming the wave of marketing back then. Live videos was becoming the rage. And then after Google Hangouts, then immediately what I started to notice was a lot of other platforms showing up. So platforms like Periscope, if you remember Periscope, let me know. If you remember Blab, let me know. There was also Billie Jean. There's like thousands of other video platforms that popped up on the scene. Some of them are still around today. Others have gone defunct. Others have merged and, been acquired by other companies. So here's the thing. As you start to take a look at the content you should be creating, one of the things that requires for you to do is to be able to move with the times. And so one of the things that I'm taking a look at is really and truly how people are consuming content, and especially live video content. So I'm going to say this is one of the things that I see shifting. How are people consuming live video content? So is it a thing that live videos are going to go away? Or is it going to be, more specific as to where do you do your live video content? Okay, so those are just some of the things to watch. But some of the things that or the type of content that you want to look at that creates the greatest impact for your audience is still video, number one. Okay, so what type of videos are you going to do? So, like I just mentioned, are you going to do live videos? And me personally, I love live videos. Nothing beats the engagement of live videos. So, I'm the type of person, I like to know what's on the mind of the people that I am speaking to. So, live video. Or are you going to create short videos? Are you going to do how to videos? Are you moving into stories? Are you going to do reels that are great for boosting engagement and viewership, on your platforms? So start to think about that. Okay, so if you're creating videos, what's the impact that you would like to have from your videos? And when we talk about impact, set a number to that. So as you do your videos, how many people do you want to get your video content in front of? Is it 1,000? Is it 100,000? Is it 1,000,000? And what is it that takes? What does it take to get that there? Okay. And then also another type of content that we all are creating is images. So as you especially look at social media, one of the things that I talk about all the time is being able to stop the scroll. So as you do your social media, is your imagery, the thing that's dynamic, that stands out for your audience, that allows them to stop what they're doing, disrupt that pattern that they're in, and make them focus on your content. Then, once again, we're going back to messaging. And so, if you're writing the caption that goes along with your video or the caption that goes along with your image, how are you serving in that caption? What's the value that you are providing? So, once again, going back to your content, every opportunity to serve. And so this even goes over for things like your reels, things for your stories that you're doing, which are shorter video content. Okay, and I just enrolled in a program where they're talking about doing reels for 6 seconds. And here I was just getting accustomed to doing videos on Instagram for a minute. Now they're telling me that a minute is too long, okay, and we need to get the reels down to 6 seconds, right? So this is going to be definitely one of the things that you're going to see me doing in 2023. I gave myself that challenge. Okay, so it's the opportunity to serve your audience, okay, in those short little pieces of content, and that which would allow you to create greater impact on your business. Okay. And then the next thing that I want to talk about is one of the biggest misconceptions about influence in the marketplace. So, how many of you have a definition or have an idea of what you think influence is? And so, if you have that, go ahead and drop that into the comment section. I would like to know how you define influence for yourself. How do you define influence in your business? Now, one of the biggest misconceptions, and even for me, I had to unlearn this and relearn a different definition of influence. So, one of the things that I thought, and a lot of people I've seen it, believes that being influential is about persuading people who don't believe in your product service, they don't believe in what it is you have to offer. Okay, so this is very funny because once again, I've been in this space for quite some time, and I remember when I started back in, I do believe 2010 to 2011, and I started sharing with people about social media. Now, back then, almost 13 years ago, social media was not the in thing. People were still resistant to social media. So I spent a lot of time trying to convince business owners, other entrepreneurs that they needed to get on social media. Okay. And then eventually, what happened? Times change. People recognize that, oh my goodness, so social media is a crucial part of my business. It's a crucial part of my marketing. And more people decided to get into the space and implement strategies into their business. The same thing with virtual. So I remember when I started, you know, looking at how to turn my business into a virtual business. There was a lot of resistance. People were like, oh my gosh, technology. I don't know how to do this. What do you mean? Store my stuff in the cloud? What's going to happen? Is it going to go away? No. I like to, be in front of clients and touch them versus being online. And I remember having those conversations, with clients about moving more and more of their stuff that they did in their business on virtual, creating online processes. And there was a lot of resistance. Now, why am I sharing this? One of the things that I had to really get present to, that it wasn't really about persuading the people that didn't believe. So how many of you spend a lot of time in your business doing that, right? You try to persuade other people to your way of thinking versus finding or attracting the people who are on the same wavelength. Okay, the people who know and understand what it is that you're saying, but they just don't know how to achieve it. And you have the roadmap to show them the how. You become what we call the guide to show them how to get the transformation that they desire. So it's a big difference. Okay. And so, once again, as we talk about influence, we talk about impact. Creating impact isn't about going ahead and trying to persuade others to your way of being. Is how can you position and how can you attract the people that want what you have, and you touch more of those people, and that's where you create your greatest impact. And so, one of the things that, as we take a look at this beautiful word named impact, and this is my word for the year, who are the people that you are going to connect with this year that would allow you to have greater impact? So, as we take a look at that as well, that's another important part, another important piece to take a look at. So, who are you directly connecting with? Are there other influencers in the marketplace that you can serve their audience with the products and the services that you offer? And so, a lot of times it's not about being in competition, is taking a look and saying, oh wow, this influencer, they have my audience, they serve the same people that I do, but the products and the services that I offer are totally different than what they offer, but it can support the same audience. And so, are you actively seeking out those people? Okay. And that's one of the best ways and the greatest ways, for you to increase your impact in the marketplace. So start to think, who are you strategically collaborating with in 2023? All right. And so I'm just going to pause here and go back to my comments and see what everyone is out here. So Karen is saying, I never used it. I was around hiding in a corner. So, Karen, you sound like me, right? So, I'm assuming that you're talking about Google Hangouts. So, yeah, so I was that person. So, I learned Google Hangouts, knew how to operate it, supported, like I said, countless clients, behind the scenes on Google Hangouts. But oh my gosh, did not want to get on camera, did not like to get on camera. But I quickly realized that it was definitely one of the shifts that I I had to make in my business if I wanted to continue to grow, right? And stay in the game. So thank you so much for that, Karen. And then Peg is saying, I remember behind the scenes, Taria, and I'm very glad you came out from behind the scenes, behind the camera and took your place out front. And so, yes, so Peg, it's one of the things, and this is why I'm talking about impact and influence in the marketplace, because oftentimes here's kind of like the crazy thing, I'm going to use that word, the crazy thing that we think as entrepreneurs. We think that we could grow successful businesses and we could get the success and all the things that we desire if we, if we just stick to what it is that we love to do and we kind of hide out. But truth be told, people aren't going to find you if you're hanging out. So if you don't know, and this is why I use the word show up, if you don't show up, then you would not give yourself the opportunity to get your messaging into the marketplace and attract the people that you are called to serve. And so, even though, I absolutely love serving behind the scenes, it was one of the things that I had to get present to really quick. Unless Taria showed up and put her messaging, her values, the things that I stand for out into the marketplace, my business would never grow. Okay, and that's the harsh reality of it. And so I see a lot of times that entrepreneurs, they do that, and I hear like, oh my gosh, I can't show up on social media. Oh, I don't want to show up on social media. Social media is too much work. It's so time consuming. But here's the thing, this is, in my opinion, the best opportunity for you. Why? Because you have the ability to show up whenever you want to show up. The world is actually at your fingertips. And this is why I get excited about social media. We just came from a time where we watched the whole world shut down. Okay, live stages were closed. People weren't hosting conferences. People weren't traveling. A lot of people's businesses, once again, the word is impact, was impacted by that. And for those who were able to survive, and come through it, they already understood the shift that was happening, or what could happen, and they were prepared for it, meaning that they were already on social media, they were doing their videos, they were doing their trainings, hosting their programs in a virtual space. And I'm not knocking speaking in person, and doing things, holding workshops or hosting all of those things in person. You should. Okay, but what I'm saying is, no longer, can you ignore this opportunity, this beautiful opportunity that's in front of us. Okay, and so for those who were able to shift very quickly, or who are already in the space, or those who were able to shift very quickly, they didn't have much of an impact on their business. But those people that didn't, they struggled, with it. Okay, so yes, that was one of the things, Peg, that I too learned earlier on, that if I stayed silent, I stayed behind the scenes, my business wouldn't grow. All right, and so Regina is out there saying captions are challenging for me. And so, oh my goodness. So, Regina, I know that you had the opportunity to come through our Unleash the Power of Your Story 5-day challenge. And we're going to go back to messaging all the time. And so when we talk about captions, captions are the wording, the description, the text that accompanies what it is that you share on social media. So one of the things that, I just shared, you know, a huge part in attracting people, to your brand is you have to be able to stop the scroll. And oftentimes we stop the scroll. If we're posting images, we stop the scroll by our images, right? And so what's the thing that's going to make someone stop and say, oh, this is interesting? Now that you have caught their attention with your image, right? When you look at your caption, how are you serving? with your caption. So this is one of the things that I say all the time, Regina, why I love social media. And I now look at social media as what I call a storyboard. So how in your content can you paint pictures for your audience? And this is so key because as you write your captions, as you write your descriptions, you want to make sure that your audience sees themselves in the things that you are putting out in social media. Does that make sense for you? So as you write, always write with your audience in mind. Okay. So the question that I always ask all the time is, how am I serving through this piece of content? So, what is it that I want, ultimately, that I want my audience to get when they read this post? Okay. So, is there a lesson that you want to share? Okay. And that's what I mean by serving through your content. Okay. And once you start to take a look at your captions from that standpoint, or your text from that standpoint, it becomes a whole lot easier. Now, I'm going to say this, and it brings me back into what I call inspirational social media. So here's where it gets tricky, Regina, and here's where it gets tricky, social super achievers. Think about it. How many of you find it very easy to post on social media when you're inspired? So there's an event that occurred and you want to talk about it on social media. And you immediately pick up your cell phone and you open up your app and you go ahead and you post. Okay. And that's fine. I call that inspirational social media. So you're inspired at that moment to share something with your audience. So, how many of you have moments like that? Okay, I know I do. But here's the question that I always ask myself. Regina says that's easy for me, right? So here's the question that I ask. What happens in those times when I don't feel inspired? So, how many of you wake up inspired every day? Or how many of you have an inspirational message at the top of your head, like every day, 3 times a day? How many? Okay, I know for me, not so much. And so, one of the things that I had to get present to is planning out my content, taking the time to plan my content. And this is what I talked about last episode. So, as you sit down and you write out your goals, how do you plan your content? Because your content serves as that storyboard, and it serves as a way to take your audience on that journey with you. So people get excited, to tune in to what you have to say. People get excited to read your content. They get excited to watch your videos. They get excited to join you on your live because you have strategically thought about what it is that you want to share with your audience. Okay. And so, Regina, I hope that this helps, because one of the things that I say all the time is you have to plan. You have to plan to be consistent. And here's the thing about consistency: consistency leads to success. Okay. And so, if any of us have ever gone back and taken a look at the things that we were successful at, those are the things that we consistently did, or the things that we consistently do. Okay. So, that's why planning is so important. So, are you setting aside, that hour, that 2 hours a week, however long it is for you, that you're strategically planning your content on social media? Okay. And so I see Regina saying collaborations, and Peg is saying often we need to simply get out of our own way. Peg, ain't that the truth? That is absolutely, absolutely the truth. Sometimes we are the ones who are standing in our own way. And I'm glad, Regina, that you are getting clarity from the info. All right. And then I see Peg is saying the social media equals a storyboard. Yes. And so one of the things that I start to look at, Peg, is as I lay out my content plan, and this is, you know, an exercise that I do for my clients. This is one of the products and services that I offer in my business, is how to lay out your 12-month content plan. Okay. And so if any of you are out there and you would like to have a conversation about it, I'll share with you how you could go ahead and book a call with me so we could talk about what it takes to specifically lay out your 12-month content plan. Okay. But that's one of the things. As I take a look at my content board, and I actually have a content board, I look at all of the conversations that I want to have inside of the marketplace. So I take a look at what my broad topics are, the things, that I talk about. And so many of you, my acronym for my business is SHINE. Okay, so I talk about SHINE all the time, how to show up, hone in, create impact and influence in the marketplace, nurture, and create an experience. And so as I take a look at those values, those things that I hold dear in my business, I know those are where my conversations are stemming from. Okay. And so every month I know what it is I'm going to share, what I'm going to talk about, down to the week, down to the day. Okay. So planning your content and having, the opportunity to take your audience on that journey. So can they see your values? Can they see, by time you get into your promotional cycle and you start to offer, whatever it is you're offering, whether it's an event you're promoting, your programs, your service, some of you have books that you're offering, whatever it is, you have given your audience the opportunity to get great insight as to who you are, what your brand stands for, your big why in the marketplace, and then how you could serve them. Okay. Pexan, I love your 12-month content plan, Taria. So helpful to Shine. Yes. So it's one of the things that keeps me on track with my social media, so I don't feel like as if I'm all over the place. I'm being stretched, I'm being pulled, even at times when inspiration doesn't hit me, I still have stuff that's going out on social media because I took the time to plan it. So great, great, great questions. Okay. So now what I want to take a few minutes to talk about. So now I'm going to give you some how to's. Okay. So that's one of my commitments on the show, is to be able to give you things, actionable things that you could start to think of, start to implement in your business that would allow you to move the needle forward. Okay. So I'm going to share with you how to add massive value on social media and create impact in 6 simple steps. So, one of the things that we're going to talk about when it comes to creating value and having impact is the faster the better. So, how many of you know that? The fastest way to increase your value is to increase the speed in which you deliver that value. Okay. So I I remind myself of this all the time. Okay. He who solves a problem today will gain a client today, will make revenue today. That came from one of my mentors, Shay Brown. And Shay used to say it all the time. As entrepreneurs and business owners, we are in the business of solving problems. So if you agree with that, just go ahead and drop that comment, and I should be seeing yes, agree. We are in the business of solving problems. And so the quicker you solve the problem for your clients, your audience, the quicker you could provide a solution, the quicker you're able to create impact, which directly leads to your income. Okay. Now, the second thing that I want to add to that is to be able to offer better quality. So, as you take a look at your products and your services and your positioning into the marketplace, and we're talking about how to create greater impact, one of the things is, when you take a look at your products and services, how can you outserve your competitors in the market? How can you offer a better quality of products? How can you outshine them? Okay. And so thinking about ways that you could enhance the quality of your products and service. The third thing that I want to share is make sure you add value in every single thing that you do. Add value. Now, this becomes so important, especially in the social media space. And I like to talk about this because I just shared with you the acronym SHINE, and the E in SHINE stands for experience. Now, unfortunately, a lot of times people believe their customer experience, the client experience happens after someone has enrolled or someone has bought or they became a client. Okay. One of the things that I'm here to share with you is that your customer experience happens way before the purchase. How many of you know that? People are experiencing us way before we even realize that they're experiencing us. And so the question becomes, in every single thing that you do, how are you adding value? And that ties back directly into what I shared about your social media. So as you create your content, whether it's your videos, your written posts, your reels, whatever it is that you're doing, how are you adding value? Because it's all about the experience. So, what are they going to get when they see you on social media? What's the value that they're going to receive? What is it that they're going to take away when they connect with you? And oftentimes, like I said, this is happening. The experience is happening before we know the experience is happening. So, oftentimes, I've had people tell me, oh my gosh, I've been following and I've been watching the videos, and I'm like, oh my gosh, really? I didn't see a comment. I didn't see a like. I didn't see a share. But they're like, yeah, I was right there and I watched and I shared, even before they reached out and they let me know. Okay. So the fourth thing that I want to share as it pertains to increasing your impact in the marketplace is being able to increase convenience. Okay. So, how are you making it easy for people to work with you? So, how many of you have actually stopped to think about your process in your business? And this is important. Okay. So we're talking about social media, and I want you to take a look at your pathway. Okay. How easy is it for someone to connect with you on social media and enroll into being a client? Okay. So, how are you making it easy for people to either become a client, or if you actually have physical products and services in your business? Is it easy for them to get those physical products and services? Okay. So I know I'm talking to coaches and consultants. What does that process look like for you? Okay. So how easy is it for someone, to enroll into your programs, your products or services? And then also being able to improve your customer service. This is also another one when it comes to increasing your impact. So, how are you creating value and how are you improving your customer service? And so, this is one of the things that I've said it, and I'm going to say it again. If you are a coach and a consultant out there and you have programs that you're offering, one of the easiest and quickest ways for you to provide customer service is to create an online community for your programs. And so, if you have a program out there, do you have an online community that goes ahead and supports your program? And why am I talking about this? So, just imagine having an online community will allow you, number one, the convenience of not having to, get on the phone every time someone has a question. Okay, you could do check ins, you could do pop ups, or even if you do get a direct question or questions from your clients, you could go into your online community and you could create resources, you could do trainings, all of that that would allow other members to be served as well. Okay, so start to take a look at ways that you could improve your customer service. Okay, and then last but not least, the sixth way is once again impact. How do we get in front of more people? How do we get our products and services in the hands of more people? And so one of the things, like I said, word for me this year is impact. So as I take a look at filling our programs, the things that we want to do, the ways that we are able to serve, what does it take to do that? Okay, so do I have a way to generate leads? And the answer to the question is yes, several. Okay, but what does it take, right, to get more people, to the lead magnet? What does it take to get more people to the online webinars? What does it take to get more people enrolled in the programs? Okay, and so being able to create ways that you have higher volumes, of products. So if you're running a coaching program, are you doing a one-on-one coaching program, or and which is good because you can do one-on-ones. Okay, and then do you have a group version of your program as well, so you have a way to serve those clients? And I know I do have clients that says, hey, I don't work well in groups, I want to have one-on-one service. That's fine. Okay, but I also have a group version of that, which will allow me to touch more people as well. Okay, and so those are the six things that, as you start to take a look at the impact that you want to create in the marketplace, because we know that the impact directly affects your income, which affects your success, right? So the faster the better. Offer better quality. Number two, add value in everything that you do. Increase your convenience. So how easy are you making it for people to work with you? Take a look at improving your customer service, and ways that you could do that. And then take a look at how you could create products that would allow you to have higher volume in the marketplace. Okay, and I am back to my yes. So Peg is saying, Shay Brown totally rocks. Yes, that's one of the things in being able to work with Shay for several years. Peg, he makes sure every day he said it, if you solve a problem today, you will get paid today. Okay, and so that's one of a mantra that I definitely took on. So I'm in the business of solving problems, so every day I get up, right, how can I solve problems for my clients? You solve a problem today, you get paid today. Okay, and so experience begins from the beginning. Yep, Regina, that is so true. Like I said, oftentimes, people are looking and we don't know that they're looking. People want to check us out. That's what I say all the time. People are checking us out. They want to make sure before they do business, before they lock arms, they know who they're locking arms with, and and value alignment. Okay, and so Regina is saying back office customer service are two things that are pivotal in creating influence. Yeah, so here's the thing that I've also learned, Regina, is being able to provide outstanding customer service. Like I said, how do you show up to serve? Like, that's my term. And so as I started, creating my programs and I started releasing programs, that's one of the things that I got present to, like, really quickly. Like, what is it that makes people, come through programs, successfully? How can they feel supported? How are you creating the environment to do that when they get stuck? Do you know that they're stuck? Okay, and how can you alleviate the unstuckness, right? And so I found that having an online community is one of the best ways to do that. So we actually have two. So we have our public community, which is the Super Achievers Network to for storytelling for super achievers. And then we also have our network or community for our paid program as well. Okay, so having communities that provide customer service is very, very important. Okay, and so I can't believe on the top of the hour already. Time sure flies when we are having fun. But I wanted to open up and extend the offer for those of you, like I said, who are working through your social media plans, your social media goals for 2023, and you would like to have a conversation around that. especially how to go ahead and create your 12-month social media plan, I'm going to go ahead and add my link to the screen on how you can schedule a 30-minute complimentary call. Okay, so it's going across the screen. You could go to bit.ly, which is bit.ly// SMS discovery. Okay, so if anything stood out for you in this episode or even the episode before, if you did not catch it, go back into our community and watch it. Things are popping up for you that you would like to have a conversation around, please go ahead, reach out to me. I would definitely love to see how I can serve you in that process. Okay, so once again, the link is on the screen, and I look forward to hearing from those of you who would like to have a call. And so as I close out today's episode, one of the things that I want to leave you with is, once again, I believe that there are people that we are divinely called to serve. And so our goal, our responsibility is to show up and serve them. Okay? So show up to serve. So as we close out, super achievers, know that you are brilliant, know that you are special, and the world is waiting on your unique gift. Take care, and we will see you next time.